Back to Buenos Aires. Okay. Yeah, it's moving. Put me back on this so I can access. You can't see it. Well, we got 4 minutes to go. And you've got your mic. Now, the secret with the mic, Russ, this has got to be up fairly close to your chin, like right under your chin works.
And then after that, I probably ask for
I know you're getting recorded.
Well, no, you are. You're the next one. Not until you turn that on. Oh, it is not. Oh, yeah, it might be taking
Well, we have 3 minutes. Shall we start? Good afternoon. Thank you all for coming. I'm Ralph Rosine, and this is our son Russ. Has a story to tell about how he ended up in Antarctica.
With him.
All right.
Well, thank you all for coming. I was kind of thinking maybe this be. Can you?
You're not turned on. Oh, it's turned on.
I got green.
It's not batteries. It's my doing.
Thanks.
I'll take the blame.
I'm not nervous enough. Thank you. Okay, there we are. All right. So, let's see, what was it? June 23, I get a call from this woman that you all know as Linda. I know her as Mom. Okay. Nice lady until she wants something. Then, she's Mom. She says, and they've cruised all over the world. She calls and says, your dad wants to cruise Antarctica. That would be a great time. That's a great place. Not a lot of people go there. She said, I'm not going. And I said, but Mom, it's like a trip of a lifetime. I mean, everybody go to Europe. Who cares? Antarctica. She says, no, I'm not going. You go. I remember sitting there doing one of these, twisting my own arm, going, okay, I'll go. So fast forward, because we didn't actually leave until December of 24, because I needed a passport. I needed to negotiate with my boss for being off almost a month, so on and so forth. And his wife actually came to save me and said, go, it's a trip of a lifetime, he'll live. So off we went, and here we are, actually in Buenos Aires. My father flew in from Rapid City here, and I flew in from Nashville, and we met in Buenos Aires. And here we are. This is actually pictures of Buenos Aires out of my hotel room. It was hot, and I was tired because I flew overnight in the cattle car. I'm not walking around. No. So anyway, pretty town, but it was also very blocky. You could definitely tell the post-war German influence on architecture. Very, very blocky. And anyway, so we had to get on a plane and fly south to Ushuaia, which is another 1,400 miles down. So, and most of it's grasslands, which they call the Pampas. And here we are out there. We actually made the coast and got to Ushuaia, which is Mr. Pointer Man right here. You get to be the pointer. You see Ushuaia? You get it?
No, I don't know how to turn. Oh, there it is.
Yep.
Still not on.
You got to hold it down.
Oh,
there you go. Ushuaia. So it's the southernmost city in the world, according to the Argentines. The Peruvians say no, Puerto Williams is the southernmost city. Yeah. So anyway, but it's way down there. So, anyway, so we get here. This is some pictures out from the actual airport, mountain ridges, and this is a shot from the harbor. I was chastised because I didn't take any pictures of the boat. So you'll see pictures of the boat later in the presentation. I promise. So we sat here for, I don't know, about 5-6 hours. The sun went down, and we were also told to find Christmas trees because Christmas was coming up. So we found a Christmas tree, and this is actually a view of our stateroom, and this window actually tracks. The top half retracts down, and we probably spent about 30% of the trip with the window down. And one of the questions I was asked a lot is, what's the temperature like? Well, leaving here, because it was generally 50s, 60s in Ushuaia, the rest of the trip, it was between 30 and 34 degrees, to include Antarctica. In fact, there were several times we were talking to my mom, and it was warmer down there than it was here. Of course, it's their summertime, so it sort of kind of makes sense while you're looking at all this ice and snow. Anyway, so I didn't realize we were underway until the middle of the night. I felt my bed go, like, okay. So, and I actually got a picture of Albatross, and which I was very pleased. I didn't know what it was. I was told by the bird lady on board, that's an albatross. I'm like, cool. And my father, who was the king of wave pictures, of which both of us took lots of wave pictures, and I'm going to actually segue here for just a sec. I personally probably took over 5,000 pictures. He took more. Okay, so be grateful. Down to about 290 pictures, and the fun part was a lot of it would be purpose. The animals wouldn't to cooperate and hold still, so on and so forth. So we have a little picture, and then Navy wave picture. Yes, there will be jokes. Sorry. So Stan was actually supposed to be here for 2 days, and we had a storm chasing us the whole way. The ride was interesting. We had 12, 15-foot swells, which wasn't too bad. And so they cut us short, did one day in Stanley, and we did an extra day in South Georgia, which was my preferred. So we were greeted at the dock, a bunch of fur seals on the docks, just hanging out and sleeping. They seem to do that a lot. We didn't see a lot of seal movement, lots of penguin movement. Seals were pretty much laid back. And so a little bit of fauna that I didn't have a picture, but they actually have a scurvy grass that would give them vitamin C, so they would avoid scurvy. And it was actually tasted pretty good. We did a walking tour on the south end of the island, and we were walking on 10 to 12 feet of peat. So it was very, very springy. It was a wonderful walk. And these are dingo berries, and they make a jam from them. And the local guide said, lots of sugar is necessary to make these palatable. So when I was walking around in Port Stanley, I went to a pub and had a shepherd's pie. they had this stuff for sale, and I'm like, no. I think we'll give it a pass. We'll give it a pass. So lots of these are shags. There's about I think 6 or 7 varieties nesting in the cliffs. And this is a Manganiello penguin who decided to walk out onto the path and then stand. And we were told, do not mess with them, do not get close to them, don't pick anything up off the ground, thou shalt not. And so we waited until he decided to amble on. Very cute fellow, and they're about that tall. That tall, sorry. The hang of this. This is a mama that was actually the nest in the tuft grass, which this stuff here, dig into the peat. So they're actually having burrows in there. And there was actually a young one in there that just couldn't get a picture of. And mama kind of chattered at us a little bit. And at one point she turned to give us her back, and then we're like, time to go. We're going. It's time for us to go. So when we got back on the boat, and I was leaving some room for extra pictures, and for some reason we couldn't get to the extra pictures. So again, be grateful. So we could be there for several hours. Just some scenery pictures. Again, more birds. I'm not sure what bird that is. We actually had a sailboat go sailing by, and unfortunately, as the boat was rocking, that was the best picture I could get from the sailboat. So we also had Godzilla swim by, and I just had to put that in there. You know this guy, Godzilla.
Back up one, please. Those are the world's oldest rocks. They are 4 billion years old. The Earth is 4.5 billion years old.
So Godzilla is not quite that old. So our first stop on the South Georgia was Bay of Isles, which is up here toward the top. This is actually kind of the northeast corner of the shore. We were actually supposed to do some stuff on the west side, but the storm was hitting it. So they're like, no, we're gonna have you over here. Like every stop that they put on, with the exception of one, and they warned us this would happen. All of our excursions are totally dependent on weather and conditions like bird flu. And so we actually made one actual scheduled stop. All the rest of them were ad hoc. So and towering peaks, it's all igneous rocks, tough grass, lichen, and we went out that day on they had what they call special operations boats, which are designed for the Finnish special operations guys to work in ice. And they said they were very tough, and they didn't bump any ice with them. I was really disappointed. I guess they were told not to damage the boats. And so just, everywhere you look, this whole trip was just stunning. I mean, awe-inspiring, stunning. We saw so many icebergs at one point. It became boring. It's like, another iceberg. You don't have to take a picture of until they're really, really unique. And then glaciers, and which is obviously the birthplace of your icebergs. And the southern end of the island, we'll see a little bit later, just flotillas of icebergs coming off the south end of the island. And so some grand cormorants, and we start to get into interesting. Did I go too fast? Am I going too fast?
No, go ahead.
Okay, good. All right. So again, just stunning. And here we are looking at king penguin colonies. And these typically, depending on a couple of places, they literally stretched for miles of the shoreline, just miles. And they would nest typically up in the, this one doesn't really have it, but the tough grass. They would nest up in there. And one of them, which we'll see later, they're actually like 400 feet above the water, away from shore. And that was their nursery. and noisy, very, very noisy as you would expect, and then some seals would swim by. I think they do, honestly. Some of them do. I don't think all of them do. Got to eat something. So, anyway, so then oh, story about when we were here at the Zodiac that afternoon, and the lady that was well, guiding our ship, she was a Polish veterinarian, funny, very funny woman. And it was starting to get windy. It was starting to get wavy, and I heard the radio come on. It's kicking up. You need to return to the boat. Yeah. I will return. And she keeps putting toward the shore. And about 2 minutes later, you need to come back to the boat. It's really starting to get windy. Yeah. I come back to the boat. She keeps putting to the shore. So now we're cruising along the shore. She's like, look, I want you guys to see this. Back, the ship's going to complain. And boy, did they. You know, yeah, I come back. So listen, if you're in the Zodiac, be in the front. If it gets windy and the waves go, anybody in the front is wet, completely saturated. So now we're going to Vicken, which is up there toward the top, and this is the biggest working station in South Georgia. Started in like 1900, and they closed it in 1966, when the populations died down to where it wasn't profitable anymore. And so cruising to the actual town itself, and you can see all of the abandoned equipment used for processing oils. And this is literally, like 100, 200 feet of flat land and then ridge. I mean, it's just like moving precariously to the side of the hill. And the funny thing is, there's actually here we go, king penguin, who was really nice, very polite, posing, and then moved on. He didn't stick around like the Manganiello did. And they're all over the place. I mean, they're just seals, penguins, seabirds. South Georgia, I was told, was the most densely populated animal section on the planet for mammals. It doesn't ice over, so it's always free of ice. And we didn't see any. I was kind of hoping for orcas. I was told there were no orcas up there at that point. I was kind of bummed. So church, this was actually made in 1913, and there's even okay, we're going for cute now. Brace yourselves. So we got sleeping, hanging out with more snoozing, watching the kids. I think getting ready to yell at the kids, maybe. More cute, more posing, and then sea glass, which is just broken glass. But there was actually a lady on the ship who collect it and make jewelry from it. She was dying, literally dying, because we were told, thou shalt not pick up anything. In fact, if you dropped something, you would have to wave somebody. They would come over, they would pick it up in a bag, take it back to the ship, decontaminate it, and give it back to you. So I'm a big rock guy. I love rocks, and I would normally pick up a rock or two. It just killed me not to be able to pick up rocks. So I took pictures of rocks.
Antarctica is a world protected site. They can't even drop an anchor in Antarctica.
Yeah, we literally held station with hydrojets the whole time. Anyway, so this was actually about 10 feet out in front of the post office, which is actually womaned, I should say, on South Georgia in Clipchamp. There were 6 ladies from Scotland who would show up in September and then leave in March. Okay. There is no nightlife here, so I'm hoping that they brought a lot of whiskey and a lot of good books, because it just wouldn't much to do. So more processing, lots of I was told, I was like, can you clean this up? And they're like, no, it's history. I'm like, okay, sure. I'll go history. So this is the museum and also the post office. Um, uh, and then Shackleton is buried here. His wife wanted him to be buried someplace close to the area that he loved. Actually, I believe, did he die down there on a subsequent expedition?
I think in a subsequent, they
Okay.
found his original ship. It's in the current National Geographic, and it's in like 1,700 or 2,000 feet of water, but they have a perfect picture of it. And everything is there except the masts.
Zircons. Tiny birds are about this big and they fly almost like a bat. Okay. This was about 500 pictures of prions to get one that actually looks like a prion and was in focus. Yeah. Off of the jets on the boat, and this is a 600-foot boat, so it's big. All right, so we've gone to, this is also a whaling station. It was much more minor, a lot more tuft grass, elephant seals, females. I never did see any males. I was really looking forward to the male with the snout. I don't know where they were, but they were not here. And more seals jumping, and just interesting rock formation. I mean, just jagged, rugged, and again, everywhere we looked, it was just one little thing. It was like, wow. And this was the nursery that was like 400 feet above the shoreline, and they would walk all the way up. This is, I want to say, about an eighth of a mile or more from the shore itself. And our first major berg, and at some point, so again, stuff that catches my eye. If I'm boring you, I'm sorry, but it was entertaining to me. Had to get some pictures of my father looking very. I was teasing him. He said something about Crazy Horse, and I said, "Yeah, it's your twin brother from another mother." and lots of waterfalls, because there would be areas of water that were trapped, and then they would obviously overflow and spill down to the next level.
It's interesting. 90% of the sea ice in the world is in Antarctica, and 70% of the fresh water in the world is in Antarctica.
The thing about it, so the world's largest desert gets less than 4 inches of moisture a year. And we actually got snow one day, which again, you think it's snow. It doesn't. My child did a paper on it in 3rd grade. That's how I know that. So king penguins, actually, right there is a male.
Yep.
I'll be danged. I did catch a male sea lion, elephant seal, excuse me. And just hanging out, snoozing, just down the water's kelp. It's nothing interesting.
That's generally where the orcas lurk, because they love to eat seals and penguins. We didn't see one orca the whole time we were there.
And one thing I read a long time ago about penguins, the guys who would get ice locked in Antarctica, they would almost as soon starve to death and eat penguins because they were so rancid. I'm like, oof. And rocks. I think we have. Now we're going to Royal Bay, which is our last stop in South Georgia. And you can see here, there's not really well in focus, but all the little guys in brown, those are actually yearlings who within the next couple of months we're going to lose the brown and get the very elegant tuxedo coat. And they will have typically about 4,000 feathers per square inch on them. I mean, it's amazing. I have pictures of some feathers later on. And just again, stunning vistas and big glacier coming down. It always still amazes me that stuff actually flows. It actually moves. And then you can see down here at the bottom, the start of another hugely long king penguin colony. Again, miles of penguins, absolute miles of them. There we go, a little bit better picture. Yeah, and see, all of this was taken from zodiacs. So the boat's doing this, and I'm click. Crap, I hope I get a couple of good pictures. Some action pictures. I tried hard to get some splash. I also tried hard to get them jumping out. I failed. I failed miserably. And like I said, they're just everywhere. We had a giant cormorant swim by. He did not give me his best side. I got his backside. So he's probably smaller than a turkey. So he's a big critter. And a lone shag in the middle of that was the only shag I saw on South Georgia. Everything else was penguins or cormorants or albatross. We're snoozing, and we're starting to get into my personal favorite posing. This is kelp that was actually have been cut by our propeller, and so there's crustaceans hanging on the kelp. Those are actually the Polish lady's fingers. Macaroni penguins, my personal favorite. Just love the eyebrows of these guys. Noisy, smelly, cute. And these guys are about that tall. Yeah. He wanted to see the emperors, which are like upwards of 30 inches, I'm told, but they're like way south. We didn't get anywhere near them.
How many miles south? Like
the McMurdo is like 1,800 miles
further south than where we were.
Yeah. That's as a crow flies. To go on a ship would be obviously a lot longer. And so again, rough grass. One of the things interesting about South Georgia was, and it's byproduct of mankind, they had a rat infestation and was literally wiping out penguins and the seabirds. And they actually went in and this was 10, 12 years ago, spent 3 years eradicating rats. I think it was predominantly poison. They had a bunch of motion sensors and whatnot so they could track them. And at the end of that period, they ran rat terriers all over the island to confirm that they were gone. So these guys were happy. So, and now we're on our way to Antarctica. There's a couple of things we'll be passing by the south end of I apologize for the maps. They didn't have the detail I wanted. They didn't show all the like the places we went. But you'll see up there at the top, Elephant Island, which is the last island, Shackleton, all the way in the corner. There you go. That's where they boated to, because they were actually trapped down here in the Weddell Sea, because the ice actually does this big rotating movement. And if they didn't get off the ice, they were forced to go around and around, and they didn't want to do that. So, all right. So let's see here. Hopefully this thing will play this. Oh, nope. Okay. Chasing birds, but close approach of an iceberg. I would love to the Star Wars Imperial March. This thing was going by because this thing was bigger than our ship.
The 20% of it that was out of the water was 40 feet taller than our ship.
Not that one. That was A2.
What was that?
3A.
Oh, it wasn't 3A?
Which we'll get to that one.
Okay.
Yes, we also saw, which you'll see here in a little bit, the largest iceberg going right now, which is at the time was twice the size of metropolitan Los Angeles, about 60 to 7% of the size of the Black Hills. It had broken off in 86 for a while. So it was so tall or low. It grounded on the sea floor and was stuck for 15 years, and it finally melted enough to where it was floating around. And it was so big. There was no sense of scale. Absolutely no sense of scale at all on this. We'll continue on with that. Come on. There we go. So,
Back up one.
no. Christmas happened while we were on to Antarctica. The distance between South Georgia and Antarctica, 1,000 miles ish, 1,200 miles. I don't remember exactly. Of course, we had to have the holiday sweaters, and the crew put on. If you've ever been on a cruise boat, they kill you with food. I mean, they just wipe you out with food. Well, they went above and beyond for Christmas, and I'm still not quite sure the Christmas meaning of the alligator. I don't know, but and just you will gain weight on that. So A23A, that was the iceberg we were talking about, and it just keeps going. And this is the one that's 40 feet taller than the tallest part of our ship.
Just the part that's out of the water.
Yeah. And on and on and on. And I have, and just, amazing. But this thing's been floating and been out off the land since 1986. And it's still just absolutely giant. And this is quick, I promise you. But what I wanted the ship to do, and they wouldn't do it, was they had 2 drones. Like, can we run a drone up to about 10,000 feet so that we can look at this huge, I'm going to go off mic here. And this little speck here at the top is the ship. Just get a sense of scale, how big this thing was. Just absolutely insane. And we also launched several water balloons. This was an expedition cruise, so they did a lot of scientific research. One of them was using weather balloons, and the package, with the exception of the tiny battery, was all biodegradable. And so they launched this thing, and off it went. And then they had this was coming back live, from the boat. So you had temperature, humidity, wind speed, wind direction, and pressure, and you could see how things varied as it went up. And they burst about 24 kilometers above the Earth, and then fall into the ocean and degrade. But they launched 5 of those? 6
5.
Yeah.
Yes.
And the launch was exciting for about 10 seconds, and then it was out of sight. So up into the clouds. And this is about 11:30, almost 12 o'clock at night, waiting for the sun to go down. And so ran into some Cape petrels. And there was just a big flock of them. And I'm not sure what they're flying around. There are no bugs, so I don't know what they were doing, but managed to get, again, 30 or 40 pictures and get a good picture of the Cape Petrel. And more waves. We actually ran into some pretty decent waves. They're about 15, 16 foot waves coming off us from the west. Just big, 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 and the Navy wave. Sorry. So Elephant Island, that's as close as we got. This is actually the northernmost island in the South Shetland Island chain. We actually went, 3 of the places we went to were in that chain, and more prions. So, yeah.
Probably 15.
14, 15
Yeah.
days. Yeah. And I've never been, I've been to Mexico, I've been to Canada, never been anywhere else. Never been on a boat. Never been on a cruise. So, it's amazing.
Oh, and Verna, we had a Swedish captain. Yeah, we did.
Actually, from the same town as
My great grandfather immigrated from.
Yeah.
Yep.
So this is Greenwich Island, and this section had bird flu. We couldn't go on it, so we went Zodiac around it. These are Gen 2s, and Gen 2 being the white little thing up on top of their head is kind of the indicator for those guys. And again, amazing landscape. And then we get into this is the other side of the spit. Inside of the spit was Gen 2s. The other side of the spit was chin straps. And you can tell the chin strap because they have that distinctive, if you can point, Lisa, the black strap underneath the chin. No, over here. There you go. Perfect. They just call them chin straps. And again, you're in a Zodiac doing this, so I was surprised I got any pictures. I took this picture because this is the Southern Ocean that literally goes all over the planet. And so from this point to the island behind us, there is nothing but water. That was just kind of a wow moment for me. And glaciers, did not see any calving. I was real bummed. No calving at all. In fact, I stalked one section. You'll see here in a little bit, and it after 3 hours, it still hadn't come down. I was like, "Come on, man, give me a break, give me something." So this was the spit of land that the Gen 2s are on this side, and the chin straps are on the other side. And we actually got to go ashore. Oh, an albatross. I don't know what it is. Albatross like me. That was 40 pictures to get him away from the rocks, in focus, and an interesting looking side. Not the top, not the brown. So here we are, Greenwich Landing. I'm not sure why we even put that in there, but we did. So Gen 2 swimming along the side the boat, and I promised a boat picture. Can y'all see the boat in the background? Okay. So,
and there were 245 passengers on the boat. Yeah. That's it.
So chin strap, and this is an Adelie here, the basically all black head, which is the only place we ever saw Adelies. And just the wing balance walk across the was just cute. Of course, she got mad at me. It's like, enough. So, and I had a chin strap that was just so accommodating. I just had to keep taking pictures. And snoozing. And we're back to Gen 2 here. I always thought the pink underneath, I was figured you'd be completely covered for, atmosphere. I guess not. I don't know if that's reflection off the feet or not down here in the bottom underneath this belly. Gen 2. Now these are feathers. These are actually clumps of feathers, and you can see right here the pack, but that each one of those strands is actually a whole collection of more strands. So it's not just one feather, it's like a whole pack of feathers. I have a feeling that these are out because this one got attacked, because they generally, you didn't see this very often. Yeah, like that. So you see a little bit more wispy, a little thin, and I think it actually, again, we weren't allowed to pick them up, so I couldn't see how far they would, peel apart. And some lichen, and just cute. So, this is some maps call it Gurlachi, some call it Digurlachi, and I'm probably completely slaughtering the pronunciation. This was an interesting area for me because there's an island in that strait called Deception Island, which is a extinct volcano caldera. It's about 2 miles across and was used as a harbor. And read a lot about it, wanted to see it, so I stayed up hoping that I could see it, and the clouds would come in and obscure the sunlight. And this is coming up on 12:30 at night that the sun's still up. And some, again, amazing. And a cormorant went whizzing by, and didn't get anywhere near Deception Island, so I got no pictures. So we have 3 of these on here. Is that the island is Trinity. We were in Mickelson Harbor, and we were on the Haunt Island, which was a whaling station in Mickelson Harbor, and it was surrounded by a huge ridge of rocks and mountains, and there was enough clouds that we couldn't see the top of the ridge. I mean, it was ringed. But here we are on the island. Lots of penguins. Come on. It's probably 4 acres, maybe 5 acres of size of actual island, and lots of gentoos, lots of whalebones. Yep. Seal, elephant seal, snoozing, cute face, and the Navy SEAL. Sorry. So this gal was building a nest in amongst a rock, and didn't see any eggs, didn't see any little guys, and she was shy, and so I didn't invade her privacy. And so again, giant cormorant, and this was actually a boat that they used to haul water from the island to the ships because they obviously needed water. I don't know if that was snow melt or what, because I didn't see any springs on this island. We were there anyway. So, one of our intrepid explorers. Oh, there they are, looking svelte and handsome. And so this was the actual harbor itself. And again, you just literally couldn't see the tops of the mountains. And this section up here below the set up professional audio and audio settings, that was the thing I was expecting to have off because it looks like it's about to fall. 3 hours I would check on it. No. I mean, as I said many times, don't these things know how far we've traveled? I mean, come on, give me a show. Give me a show. We had lunch, and it was probably a balmy 32 degrees. We had barbecue, lobster, and libations and music. It wasn't live music. Thought we had a whale in here. Nope, guess not. Thought we had a whale. Okay, so this is the ship actually did it once on the last cruise and was trying to do it again, where they actually drive the ship up onto the ice, and the ship was capable of going through about 6 feet of ice. And the point of this was so that if they were able to successfully land the ship, they could literally open the door on the side of the ship and we walk right out. No boats, no monkeying around, no nothing. Unfortunately, it did not happen. This was actually the second of 2 tries, and you can see the
Cracking.
flows cracking, and they're like, yeah, dunking passengers in the water. Yeah, it's not good for business. not good for business at all. And it was just anticlimactic because there was no shutter, there was nothing. It was just up onto the thing, and it was sort of boring. But the things on this, it was just a big ice pan, and there were several channels that you could see, and this is from like a half a mile away. You could see humpback whales swimming in the channel, but a half mile away. They wouldn't come down our channel. They would just stay away from us. It was, again, they were uncooperative. So we got some penguins swimming, penguins leaping up out of, it's annoying that it's there. Anyway, up out of the water. Amazingly graceful, and I don't think any of them crashed, although I have seen them jump up and then fumble the landing and roll, and cute little finger footprints. And I also caught some, this is again the boat. You can see the hull for ice operations. And the snow, again, this is like extremely rare, at least on our trip. And I actually was standing up on the boat, and I noticed there were penguins swimming under the water, and they were chasing, I'm guessing, fish, maybe krill. But it was dark, no sun, and it was snowing, so I couldn't see what they were chasing. And the video didn't work; we couldn't focus.
That's what they're chasing right there.
No, that's snow. Those things coming down, that's snow. Yep, and it just gives you, a small flow, and if that's 3-4 feet, what's down below, it's probably 25, 28 feet of hanging underneath. And more rock, and more glaciers, and more glaciers, and swimming, leaping penguins, and one lone seal. That was the only seal we saw in Wilhelmina Bay. And we also saw it was a humpback mama, and we were told probably a yearling calf hunting. Give it a minute, they're shy.
Oh,
There's one section we were at, was the next day, and people were out in the special operations boats, and a flotilla of humpbacks swam underneath their boat. So lucky I wasn't on that boat. Oh, good.
the S&D tail's been up at least 4 times I've seen.
All right, so that was the highlight of whale visitation. Because the rest of the time they were just showing us the hump. It's like, come on, really? Come on, do something. Do something. So icebergs. In this recess cove, we got in, it was early, so it was still pretty overcast and dark. The sun does come out a little bit later, and it's kind of ice choked, and we kind of drove right on through it with the boat. And a couple of seabirds, I'm not sure what those are exactly. And interesting formations on the iceberg. I don't know what I'm guessing wind maybe sculpting that. The sun's starting to come up, and one crab eater seal. She was about 400 yards off the ship and did not move. Wasn't dead, because somebody said they could see her breathing, but she was obviously taking a nap. And just stunning. Again, like I said, it's just overwhelming how beautiful this area is. And the sun came out. So iceberg, glaciers, and then and we're actually physically on the Antarctic Peninsula at this point. We're not on an island. And visual proof, we made it. Green screen, no CGI. So
Interesting report about seals. They were hunted to almost extinction by 1900. The report was there were very few left. Now there are over 3.5 million.
I had to take a rock. It was just interesting picture. And we got to see some flipper, back, and lips. Lips sounded funnier than snout, right?
And I have a picture that I couldn't find of 12 humpbacks sleeping on the surface. And I've never heard of a whale sleeping on the surface.
So,
oh, yes.
Drake Passage, right? Amazingly storied body of water. They've satellites have tracked waves up to 210 feet tall going through this strait, and I was so looking forward to it. Not the 210 feet thing, but I was looking forward to some drama. And the captain looked at me when I said that, and he just like I was nuts. And they said it's either a roller coaster or a lake. We got the lake.
Both in and out.
Yeah.
And going around Cape Horn, that's almost unheard of.
Yeah, just it was boring. I have almost no pictures because you're out in the middle of nowhere, and some gray whales swimming by, but they don't even come up above the surface. You could just see occasional puff of them breathing, and that was it. It's like, come on, guys, show. So that is some sleeping humpbacks there,
and Lynn Garcia reported when she was down several years ago, it was so rough that they had seat belts on their beds. And the big granite entry came loose and went and crashed. And there were dishes everywhere.
So this is our captain. He actually does smile. Yeah, he actually does smile. Very nice man.
Only if you speak Swedish.
Oh no, he was nice. He was nice. So we on the way back to Ushuaia. It was New Year's. There was partying or revelry and whatnot. I don't drink and I don't dance, so there's none of that for me. So the last day we were down in Ushuaia, some of us just walked around, and it's amazing. They still have statues to Eva and Juan Perón. We're still revered. I'm like, okay.
And their ships still carry Malvinas on them. Yeah. They're still claiming the Falklands.
Yeah. So interesting sculpture and flowers. Again, summertime down here, and interesting bees. That the coloration on the bees. Kind of, and whimsical art. I don't understand this. Nobody could explain it to me. Like the guy's breaking out, and the cops are just sitting there watching and laughing at him. Like, where are you going to go? And I did not understand this. I don't speak English. I mean, excuse me, English.
Spanish.
I barely speak English. I don't speak Spanish. Certainly don't read Spanish. So I have no idea what this was. But this is out in front of their military barracks for their I guess their Navy detachment. So I have no idea. It caught my eye. And this did too. This kind of looks like a hobbit house with a kind of a funky tree in front of it. And this was, like I said, they claim that big section of Antarctica, the South Georgia, Sandwich Islands, and the Malvinas. It's theirs. It's like, okay. So here we are in the SARS airport. He was flying back to Dallas. I was actually flying to JFK. And one last picture again there.
Okay. So when you got back,
Oh, yes.
an interesting,
Yes. So again, all guy, cattle car on the overnight flight. I mean, my flight to JFK was almost 12 hours and no leg room. So I did not sleep. So then I fly from JFK to Nashville, get to Nashville, hop in my truck. I'm an hour and change away from my bed. And at this point, I told the state trooper incorrectly. Been up 33 hours. I was tired. So I'm flying along in a group of cars. We're doing over 90. I still have my parka on, thank God. My, as you see up here, the Antarctic patch on the side. And out of the 12 cars speeding,
you're the last guy.
nice guy. Hi, I'm Trooper blah, 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 blah. And this guy got going so fast. And I said, I popped to Antarctica. I've been up for 27 hours. I want my bed. And he's like, hey, tell me about it. So we sat and talked for a bit. And he says, walks back to his squad. This is 70-mile-an-hour zone, by the way. Well, comes back a couple minutes later, says, I'm somewhat slow down. And 5 minutes. It's like, yeah, I have treasure. It's awesome. So to thank my mom who set all this up. She wanted the two of us to spend time. And I don't think I've ever spent so much time with you. And I still like him. All good things. It was an amazing adventure.
Just fabulous. Thank you.
So, I think it was going to happen is we're adding a slide, another slide, another slide. It's then you're like, it's only an hour. Do you think you can do an hour? We're going to go fast.
Thank you for coming.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, Dick.
8A, 3A.
A20.
It's about 60 to 70% the size of the Black Hills. So how long, I don't know, but it also would spin once a day. So rotate once a day because the wind got it going, and once it's going, it's not stopping.
And the claim was that it would cover Los Angeles County, and halfway down to where the Navy keeps their
San Diego. Yeah. So
to San Diego.
it's the size of LA Metro, which Black Hills, I have better visual of how big the Black Hills is than I do LA. So
Range of temperature.
trip.
We would
34 degrees the whole trip.
Over a year period of time.
Down there, I have no idea. Cold. Really cold.
we would call Linda frequently in the morning and ask her what her temperature was. She would say 20 degrees right now. We'd tell her it was 30 or 32 where we were.
So, yeah, but they've recorded as far down as like minus 79 degrees in up on the escarpment down by the pole. That's cold.
And Russ was saying this is the parka and the liner for the parka that they provided to us. And it's extraordinarily warm. And they provided us with waterproof pants and boots that came up about to here. And by golly, they were heavy. But they vacuumed when we got on the boat everything that we were going to go off ship with. I mean, they went over it, what, 15,
At least we had to go
20 minutes?
be inspected and then they would wash, would literally get off the boat, come back on, and they would run us through this. It looked like a little car wash thing that you kind of shuffle through, and then they would power wash again. They'd rinse you. It's like, okay, I don't want bird flu. I'll sign up for that. I'll sign up for that. And, when asked what's my favorite food, I mean, again, they killed you with food, but they had the nicest, most fabulous anchovies. Oh, oh. So I throw that on pizza. Was good, very good. You guys have been great. Thank you for not throwing things.
Thank you.
Days. We were down there 21 days. Actually, we were gone longer because I was originally booked to fly out of Denver. And I said, not in December. So I booked a separate flight, flew to Dallas, waited 8 hours to get on the plane to go. Yeah, it was great fun. Yeah, we had a wonderful time. Well, yeah, but we were on board. You look like a millionaire. Yeah, it's a wonderful feeling. And we almost went back down for another 21 days, but we couldn't. Called in and said, if we can find a cabin, somebody's canceled. He's thinking of going, oh, good, go. So we would spend another 21 days. And it probably would have been different. On a lot of cruising. Yes, I don't have. Anyway, they put out a 4-page full-color flyer every day about where you're about to go. They never went to one of those places. My habit was, okay, I'll take a picture of that, and then I know every photo that I take after that came from there. No, that isn't where we went. So, my next courage is to extend that extend down to the interior road. I want everything that's floating on the surface. I don't think so. Like the big rocks that we showed you that are 4 billion years old, those have to go all the way down to something. Because otherwise they just disappear. You went very close to any of the research teams. We had research teams on the ship, 5 of them. They were doing research from the ship the whole time we were down there. There was also a submarine on the ship, and we could take the submarine and go down. How many people were there? 245 passengers. Now that's what made it wonderful. There were 245 passengers. I know that, and I don't think I brought it with me, but I can show it to you. I have the latest National Geographic, and it shows Shackleton's ship that they just discovered in 1,700 feet away. the submarine that you could put on anything that I don't know how deep, Russ might remember, I don't remember, but yeah, you could break this up in some kind of ship. Oh, my pleasure. So he did most of it. So, AJ, a ship down, yeah, everything that surrounds us, the ship itself was a passenger ship, it was for passenger, it wasn't a military ship. Oh, no, it's a ship, well, they call them research ships. Actually, they call, Viking has two of them, Lactalis and I can't remember the name of the other one. They're both built almost like semi-icebergs because they can cut you up to 6 feet without. That's a lot. And it's days, when we took the 21 days, one phase was two. If you wanted to go now, you'd have to go to December of 27. Exactly. It may have been 17, so you know, yeah, they're very popular. That's I don't know. Oh, thank you. You can thank Russ. He remembers many of those places better than I did because I was thinking I was in different places. Okay, let's see here. Now, most of those towns are inhabited. No, they're not. The only place that's inhabited is the post office that Russ talked about, inhabited 6 months of the year. Nobody else. No one was else. Unless it's a research team that's moving through. The pictures of the guy running the side of the building. Uh-huh. That was back in Ushuaia, which is at the very tip of where we got on the ship. In it's like 1,000 miles south of Buenos Aires, Argentina. That's where those pictures that he was showing. Couldn't get involved in any. The only place that we got into the ice that I know that through the flows where he was it's typical for them to pull up on a floe and open the gangplank and let you walk out on the floe. Both times that he did that, they cracked. He was afraid to let us out. Well, let's see if I can pull up anything like extremes in Antarctica. These are kind of lowest temperature ever directly reported occurred at the Soviet Union's Vostok station. That's where, quite a ways further south of where we were. That's where the U.S. station is, and there are several countries that have a station down there. Was 128 degrees below Fahrenheit. 128, yeah. And yes, yes, yes. And they go back. Okay, to put it right here, so yeah, I put it right, try to put it right here. The lowest temperature at the geographic South Pole recorded on June 23rd, 1982 was 117 degrees below Fahrenheit. Yeah. Did you do this on flight drive? No, you didn't do it on recording.